All right, YouTube says we're live. All right, thanks for tuning back in to another episode. Regardless of whether you're catching this on the live stream or actually catching this on the archive, I truly do appreciate you guys being friends of the channel, being subscribers, liking the videos, etc. If you guys ever have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to drop me an email or ask me on Discord or catch me over on the Three Dudes Gaming Network forums or on PCSG. You can always ask a question, any question, or catch my live streams and ask questions during the chat. All right, so just to sort of recap, almost 30 hours into this map play so far, and we did not achieve our $1 million goal just simply because we could not drive anything other than the Scorpion King around the map. And I suppose I could have moved the Scorpion over towards the sawmill and cut those little bit of trees and drug them to the sell point. I don't want to do that. So it is what it is, and we will just make up for it. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay here. We're not going to change our mods or anything around. They're just fine the way they are. And this is a continuation of the first live stream, so we probably have some folks that have been waiting for us to get back from the coffee pot and get back from our little break and everything, and so we are getting right back into the action. This is episode number 25, and this will mark the first game day of spring for the second year. The challenge will basically represent 3 full years of gameplay. So we're still not even halfway through. We're basically a third of the way through the challenge, I suppose you could look at it that way. And here it is at 6 a.m. in the morning. So we're going to start this episode like we start all the others by lapping ourselves around that tree, coming around over here, and let's turn on our flashlight again. Only the second time that we've used the flashlight on this map. And look at all that snow still on the ground. There's usually some eggs here under the snow. And looks like we've had a brand new sheep been born. We've got 101 sheep. That's new. We only had 100 yesterday, so that's quite cool. And we still got a lot of snow on the ground. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get over to our telehandler and we'll go clean up after the sheep because that is a priority now. Now that we are into spring, obviously our sheep produce wool. I'm sure there's no sheep standing in line to be sheared today. So I'm sure they're like saying, no, don't shear us. It's too cold. But anyway, obviously sheep produce wool in the spring, mostly in the spring and a little bit in the summer. So we'll be keeping an eye on wool prices and such to try to determine when the best time will be. I think we've got a little bit of snow in our bucket here, so maybe that'll turn into grass when we get over here. And good, we've got grass in our bucket now, just like that. So that should drive our productivity back up to 100%, which is going to be important for us to focus on that. That's one of the reasons why I've been somewhat diligent over the fall and the winter time frame to keep the sheep productive, basically keep myself sort of active and coming over here and you know, mucking these guys out. So we'll just leave this connected for now because we don't need to do any other, we shouldn't need to do any other work. Our greenhouses, if we can get the tractor unstuck from the field out there, then we will probably do water in the greenhouses today because we had to short our greenhouses with water yesterday because I didn't want to waste the time that it would take to drive the tractor back down to get more water, and actually we ended up getting it stuck anyway. So yeah. Alright, so we try to do everything as realistic as possible. We try to limit our tabbing and stuff into vehicles. Again, sort of as little as possible, but we are going to be taking an Uber, hopefully, and see if we can get that semi unstuck. And a lot of that's going to determine whether or not we get this guy unstuck, because I don't know. Let's see. Forward gear. And he's still stuck. Still stuck. Stuckaroo. Let's see. Doesn't even matter if we disconnect. The water tipper is empty anyway. Let's see. Is there anything we could do to try to correct this situation? Let's see if we can get some more traction on the tires by turning the steering wheel. There we go. There we go. While there's a will, there's a way. All right, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try to refill this and see if we can get back up to the greenhouses, because this is probably going to be somewhat telling for us. If we can drive around in the snow, and hopefully the snow is melting just a little bit from where it was in episode number 24, then that should tell us that we might be able to get the log truck moving and basically get the logs that we cut yesterday, get them up and get them sold, and that will give us our $1 million status that we were wanting to get to on the last game day of winter. Let's see, Chris, Grizzly Bear Sims, hey, right back to you. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. I appreciate that. Go ahead and refill our water here. Thankfully, the pond never froze this year, so that is cool. Obviously, it doesn't depict that, but that would have been a whole heck of another problem scenario had that actually occurred. Might actually have to break out the dynamite for that, or basically a large heat lamp. So I don't know, maybe this is a waste of time, but I'm sort of thinking that this is going to tell us whether or not we're going to be moving the semi today, if we can get the water up there. You know, we haven't had a problem. We have to manage our greenhouses about every other day to keep them at full productivity, and we have not had a problem in doing that until game day 24. We had a little bit of snow between episode 23 and 24, and that just basically shut everything down from being able to move any equipment that we own except for the Scorpion. The Scorpion was still very much maneuverable, and we were able to cut logs, and we were stuck again. All right, we're stuck again. Well, at least we're halfway up the hill, so maybe we'll get some snow melt and we can try this later this afternoon in this game day. So we're going to go ahead and tab. We're actually going to tab to our semi and see if we can get this guy moving. My guess is probably not very well, so we're going to spend just a minute or two on this, and if this doesn't improve as we get over to our road surface, we did pull off the side of the road to assist with in preventing ourselves causing a traffic jam. But looks like we're still more or less in the same predicament. We've still got, even though that road up there looks like it's been plowed, once we get closer to it, snow will start to appear. It's snow-packed. Actually, it's not even snow-packed. If this was a true snow-packed road, we would be able to move just fine. But this is obviously just piles of snow. This is like what Denver is like after we get a blizzard of like 2 feet or 3 feet. People can't move because low-profile vehicles that don't have a lot of clearance underneath the front fender and the road surface can't move around, and so yeah, we're stuck. So no need in wasting time. Let's just slow these trains down, and we'll Uber over to our Scorpion. And as Chris says, time for the tree. Yep, time to cut trees. What a mess. What a absolute mess this is. We probably have we probably have close to $100,000 worth of, well, it would be good skiing snow, sort of depending on when it fell. If this is the champagne type powder, you're absolutely right. Let me see if I can move this log out of the way, because this is gonna, I don't know if we can do it. I don't think it's gonna move. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time trying to do this. Maybe that'll allow the AI to continue to drive. Yeah, if this is like that champagne powder, yeah, this is great skiing snow. But if this is that spring, obviously we're in the spring, but if this is that spring, what I can sort of call mashed potatoes type snow, this is ankle breaker stuff. This is no fun at all. This has a consistency of mashed potatoes or concrete, and it is a mess. Let me tell you, it is a mess. Yep. All right. No need in trying for those, because I don't think we'll get up that slight incline. So we might need to just move over to this other side of the bridge here. There's some flat land over there. We're going to have to, we're obviously going to have to scope out flat areas with lots of timber for winter year 2 and winter year 3, because and then just as soon as the snow is gone, we're going to move all of our equipment, all of our logging equipment and operations and everything will move up into the hills. If you guys are watching my channel and you're sort of new to the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, I would appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, and also go ahead and slap that like button as well. I would appreciate that. Let's get a like spike going if you want to, if you don't mind. And I will invite you, if you're kind of new to the YouTube or to the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube family. If you enjoy Farm Sim 17, I've got a complete Let's Play on the Lawfolds map, and the Lawfolds map is a beautiful map. I did 2 full years with the Seasons mod on Lawfolds, and I am in about halfway through my Let's Play series on Mountain Valley Farm. I've also got courseplay tutorials on just about anything that you would want to do with courseplay. So that's kind of cool. And I've got some other videos, some few flight sim videos. I've got some trucks, American Truck Sim and Euro Truck Sim videos as well. I've tried to kind of diversify into other simulation-based games. That's pretty much all I play is simulation-based games. I don't have anything against the first-person type shooter games, but it's just not something that I fancy. I do own Grand Theft Auto, but I don't stream it. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day at the office and I want to go steal a car and drive it around whatever the town is there, Los whatever, I will sort of take my frustrations out on that, but I don't stream it because well, just don't do it. And let's see, what else do I play? I used to play Car Mechanic Simulator. I think the new version's coming out, Car Mechanic Simulator 18 or 2018. But the problem is I went out and I read the reviews on Steam, and pretty much everything is getting a thumbs down at this particular point in time, saying that the game is not complete, that it's been rushed, that there are bugs, that there are performance issues, it's not been optimized, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm just going to keep my money in my pocket for right now, even though it is on sale at a discounted rate. And I'm sure they'll fix it, because obviously Car Mechanic Simulator 15 was a pretty fun game if you like that kind of stuff. And don't really know, what am I stuck on? I'm stuck on that stump, aren't I? I don't really know if it would be of interest, if folks would be interested in watching the Let's Plays on something like that. But that'll probably just be something that I play sort of in my private time. But I've been playing simulation-based games since the early 1980s. Yes, computers have been around that long. For you young people that may think that this is all brand new technology, but back in the early 1980s, there was a computer called the Commodore 64. Quite the antique nowadays, but it was Commodore 64, and that was the first flight sim application that I came into contact with. And basically it was developed by a company called Sublogic, and basically that ended up becoming what we know as Microsoft Flight Simulator. Essentially Microsoft sort of got a hold of that and turned it into the early version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then I've played every version since then, and of course now I'm playing on prepared version 4 and just absolutely loving it. And I haven't yet really figured out how to do flight sim videos on my channel. Obviously I know how to record them and put them on there. That's not the struggle. But the struggle is that most of my fans that watch my videos are much like myself, in the sense that they've got maybe 30 minutes or so of time to be able to watch something. Now obviously the challenge the challenge live streams are running about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that, so that's just different because it's kind of a different thing. But a lot of my fans do enjoy the fact that I try to keep my videos at around 30 minutes. Well, there's not really much you can do as far as the world of flight sim is concerned with 30-minute videos, with the exception of maybe some general aviation, bush flying, stuff like that, which I have kind of done a little bit. We don't have any sugar beet, and we never will on this series. But so I don't know. I mean, as far as like, you know, the tube-liner kind of stuff, like flying in a 747 or a 777 or even a 737, where most of the flight destinations that I would probably want to fly to are going to be at least an hour and a half long episodes. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out, and have I just messed myself up by getting off down here like this? Come on, please don't do this to me. If I can get out of this situation, I will just if I can get out of this situation, I won't get back into it. I promise, I promise. Alright, boy, we have really put ourselves in a situation. I got greedy and wanted this tree. Okay, the train has just went by. I am between a rock and a hard spot. Four-wheel drive. There is no four-wheel drive on the Scorpion King. I think it's automatic four-wheel drive. Alright, where'd my mouse go? Of course, we're going to be in a world of hurt here if that train comes. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm driving this thing like I was driving it in fall, and quite honestly, it's just not the same. It just will not. I need to hook my joystick back up is what I need to do also, considering that I'm doing a lot of logging and stop using this mouse. Anyway, okay, let's move down here to these flat areas and stay away from those hills. We can get those trees, but we just can't do it when there's so much snow on the ground. But we'll get them. So anyway, I forget where I was. Let's see. DC says, have you ever looked into 7 Days to Die? No, I haven't. I know some folks that play it, and I've seen a few videos here and there, but I've never looked into actually playing it. Might be kind of fun. But I just got introduced to Farm Sim 15 about 3 or 4 months after Farm Sim 15 came out. I was following a couple of guys that were primarily doing flight sim videos, and they started playing Farm Sim 15, and I honestly thought, and this is a true story, and I've told this a couple of times, but I had heard of Farm Sim 15, but I was confusing it with Farmville, like on Facebook, that like my mom plays and begs me to come and play for her, do her fields and everything. And it just didn't interest me. But then I saw a couple of guys playing Farm Sim 15 on YouTube or Twitch or one of those platforms. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. You can drive tractors around, and they were doing some logging and the whole 9 yards. And I thought, okay, that's really cool. And so I got it, bought it, and at the time, the only hardware that I had was just flight sim stuff, and I wasn't sure if I could get my yoke and my pedals to work as basically steering wheel and accelerator and all that kind of stuff. Well, long story short, I couldn't, or at least I couldn't get it to work the way that I really wanted it to work. And so I decided that I would invest in, after I kind of got tired of playing with the Logitech Xbox type controller, I finally invested in the Logitech G27. And then of course it was kind of a natural progression at that point to go ahead and get Euro Truck Simulator 2, because of course this was before ATS came out. And then when ATS came out, well, that was obviously a step in the right direction. So I'm playing, I mostly enjoy the driving type simulation games, so like, Farm Sim and Truck Sim, Flight Sim, stuff like that. But I think one of the reasons why I like Farm Sim so much is because of the variety of things that you can do. With Flight Sim, it's just pretty much just all flying, right? I mean, yeah, there's a variety of different aircraft that you can fly. You can fly the small, just flying above the tree line and that kind of stuff, or you can fly the jumbos. You can fly helicopters if you enjoy that, stuff like that. But it's pretty much the same thing. Well, same thing with like Truck Sim, and that's all pretty much the same thing. Yeah, you can drive a Peterbilt or a Kenworth or whatever, but it's still pretty much all the same concept. But with Farm Sim, the cool thing about it is, you can plow one day, you can plant, seed, harvest, cut wood, tend to animals. I'm sure you guys are all aware of what can be done, because I'm sure you play it if you're watching my channel. So, but it's just that variety of different things that make it interesting, or at least make it interesting for me. So yeah, it's basically this type of areas that we're going to have to sort of reserve for winter. So obviously we don't have anything better to do, so we're going to cut this right in the middle of the road. But yeah, I'm sure the AI is going to get mad at us, but that's okay. It's hard to tell where the road is when it's covered with a good foot or two of snow. I think the Scorpion King will just about go anywhere under your typical, you know, spring, summer, fall days where there's no snow on the ground. So we shouldn't have a problem heading up into the hills with this and cutting those trees up there once the snow melts. Yep, I've seen those, Farmer Klein, so that's definitely probably going to be winter year 2 when I get over there. But again, kind of thinking about the real world, and especially sort of what we see here in Colorado. Of course, this is sort of, you know, being depicted up into the higher elevations. This obviously wouldn't be at 5,000 feet like Denver, not with these mountains and everything is close by. This might be in the, wow, okay, so if I sort of think that these are like 14ers, so 14,000 foot peaks that we have here in Colorado, I would sort of think that this elevation for where we are now would be in the like in this maybe 7,000, 8,000 range, something like that. But even still, when we have a good day of bright sunshine, cloudless skies, 45 degrees, there'd be a lot of runoff, a lot of melt off going on for sure. And of course, we would have already fired every CDOT employee, every county employee and everything for not getting out here and plowing these darn roads. So just for the sake of the archive, I'm sure that folks that were in the stream, the first episode this morning, episode number 24, are probably still hanging around because they promised me that they would do that. Just kidding. But anyways, for the sake of the archive, anybody that might stumble on this and wonder what the heck's going on, this is a Old Guy Farmer Challenge. We're playing a specially edited map of Goldcrest Valley. There are about 6 or 7 contestants or participants or challengers or whatever we want to call them that are participating in this challenge. Farmer Klein, who is still in the house, is one of those. But anyway, the rest of those challengers, their YouTube channels are listed down below the video, so I would encourage you to check those out and show them guys some love. Maybe attend some of their live streams or watch their archived footage of what their gameplay is like. We're all playing with the same settings, but obviously getting different experiences because that is just the variables of the game. And I am giving away to celebrate the fact that you guys are enduring a total of 72 episodes for this challenge, because we're playing 6 game days per season at 15x speed. But to sort of celebrate you guys hanging out with me and keeping me somewhat entertained and company and being good friends and everything, I'm giving away 3 copies of the upcoming Giants Farm Sim 17 Platinum Expansion DLC pack that will be coming out in mid-November. And you can enter the contest once per episode, and during each episode I provide a word of the day, a code word of the day, and I will read, or I will announce that code word here shortly. It is verbal, so you do have to watch and listen for me to announce this. I don't type it on the screen or anything like that. And I will do that here momentarily, get you the code word of the day, and then you can enter. So the more you watch and the more code words that you retrieve from the episodes, the more frequently, or the better chance you'll have of winning, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to spit that out here. Now, while I realize that the responsible thing to do would be to replant trees, we're not going to do that, and we're also not going to bother grinding stumps unless they get in our way with potential field expansion or whatnot. I do kind of have in my mind potentially buying, let's bring up the big map here, potentially buying field number 19 and 23, because that kind of keeps things somewhat central to our main farm area. I really don't want to have to drive the tractors and the harvesters and all that kind of stuff a million miles to tend to a field. I'd like to try to keep everything as somewhat centrally located to the main farm as possible. As I'm got this tree stuck on something over there, I don't know what. Well, I guess we're just going to have to... We may have to just cut this guy where it lays here, if we can try this maybe. There we go. Again, you just, well, I said there we go. Let's just cut this guy where it stands, if it'll even come out here. There we go. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but let's see. DC says, I'm surprised with it being 46 degrees, more snow isn't gone. Yeah, me too. But I think it's all just, you know, I don't think that the representation of the snow in the ground and what that does as far as the tractor or the traction of the tractors and everything, I'm not sure if it necessarily factors those real life kind of nature things in. I think it's just, you know, it knows how many layers of snow we have on the ground, and it probably there's probably some algorithm that says, you know, it's going to take this many game hours to sort of melt, or game days maybe, I don't know. Obviously it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the first game day of our second year around, and I think we still have as much snow as we had the last game day of winter, but I don't know. I just know we have more snow than anyone else had on their maps, on their plays at this particular point in time, and I'm just hopeful that they get to experience this fun, because this has been just truly fun. Let me tell you, this has been just a ball dealing with all this. I mean, our productivity has been extremely high during this time of dealing with all the snow, and you know, I think it's actually benefited us. I think we've made more money. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, but we're having fun. That is the bottom line. Is we're still having fun. You know, I can only sort of laugh at myself when I take a risk and I get the Ponzi stuck in a ravine and almost run the risk of getting hit by a train to get it out. It's all an adventure. It's all fun, and it will be extremely fun for me to actually watch Farmer Klein's videos if he has a very snowy winter like this. That'll be the best entertainment on YouTube if that were to happen. But of course, as his friend, I should also say, gosh, Farmer Klein, I really do hope that you don't have to endure a winter like I have had to endure. That would be the friendly thing to do, right? That would be like almost doing the anti snow dance for him. Oops, tree. Yep, logs. So there's a friend of the channel that pops in. He's popped in a couple of times. He was actually live streaming. I think he was live streaming with, well, he might not have been live streaming, but he was playing with Icelandic Farmer and Johnny V and Wonko and a few folks last night on the PCSG multiplayer server. And his name is Farmer Oops. Maybe I should have claimed that name, because I certainly do a lot of oops moments. Farmer Klein says he hopes so. He hopes that he doesn't have the winter that I've had. We are playing with the updated version of the Seasons mod, so there are some fairly significant changes that have occurred, both some fixes as well as some functional changes of the mod itself. One of the things is the fact that we only have to do maintenance, I think, once per year. So that's why this is showing 16 days until, or 25 hours. And then I hope, now what I will say is I do hope, and this is genuine, this is not me being funny or anything like that, but I believe that there were some fixes related to grass growth, and I actually do hope that those will benefit guys like Farmer Klein, who are obviously better at driving their Scorpion King than I am, but who are obviously trying to leverage grass and silage to do their challenge. So I'm hopeful that will benefit them, because obviously if it benefits them, then it benefits everyone, because obviously it was maybe a bug or an oversight or something else that that has been addressed and fixed. So that will actually be quite cool if that is the case. I will just ask Farmer Klein, because obviously he is many game days ahead of where we are in this map. He's also probably had the updated Seasons mod applied to his game for at least two days, maybe like Thursday and Friday. I don't know if he's done any streams this morning, but I think he did 2 or 3 yesterday. Have you noticed a difference, Farmer Klein, with regards to grass? And did it really and truly get fixed or get adjusted or whatever? I have not seen a difference, but I am in summer now. Their fix was to address no growth in spring. Okay, so I guess you will find out if that actually did fix it when you come around. Okay, I'll see it first. Yeah, obviously I would see it first. So hopefully that will be something that will help everybody out, because I know when I'm playing a traditional let's play type map, where I'm wanting to do all animals and do hay and grass and silage and stuff like that. I'm looking to be able to cut grass as soon as possible, and sort of based in the real world and with my knowledge of, I spent many years as a teenager working on some local farms in East Texas where I grew up, and hauling hay and stacking hay and all that kind of stuff. And I know that oftentimes they would do their first cut, their first grass cut for hay. They would do that in very early summer to get that first cutting in, especially if we had a nice wet and sort of mild spring where the grass would be growing and everything. They would do that. And so all right, so the word of the day, each episode has a code word. It's not always just one single word. This one's also not going to be just one single word. And I'm actually going to steal a phrase that Farmer Klein used as we were exiting episode number 24, because again, this is our first game day of the new year with regards to that. So basically, the code word for episode number 25 is Happy New Year. So this is basically our brand new year, and we've survived the first year, and we've done quite well, I think. I don't know, if we've done enough to be able to maintain our lead, or whatever we want to say with regards to that. But we have done well. We've had fun. It's been we've only been playing this map for about 2 weeks. I got back from vacation. My wife and I got back from vacation, and I was at work watching videos and catching up with some of my friends like Eustace Farmer and Farmer Klein and some of the others. And Farmer Klein was hot and heavy into his first year of spring on this challenge map, and he was talking about it, and I'm like, well, that sounds pretty cool. And I've used to live stream farm sim episodes on Saturday morning, what I used to call Saturday morning coffee, and I've been wanting to do that, but I've been so busy with work and everything leading up to my vacation that I had sort of stopped live streaming, but I was wanting to kind of get back into it. And so I thought this, in part of the challenge, part of the rules of the challenge is that all episodes must be live streamed. And so I sort of thought, okay, well, this will kind of kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. It'll give me something to do, to live stream, plus it's a challenge. And I must admit, I do have a competitive nature to me. I think most people probably do, to a certain level, maybe some more than others. But I do have a competitive spirit, and I thought, well, this will be kind of cool. I know Farmer Klein. I sort of know, at the time, I knew a little bit about Old Guy Farmer, because obviously I had been playing Mountain Valley Farm, and I thought that, that would be cool to do, and so we got started on it, and we've been averaging at least one live stream almost daily. Now we are going to have to take a break. I've got to travel unless that gets canceled. And there actually is a chance that it is going to get canceled, that I found out yesterday. So that could be actually cool, but we may have to take a few days off because I can't, even though I can sort of play Farm Sim 17 from an old gaming laptop that I have from a hotel, I can't live stream from that. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be quality enough for me to even bother. And so obviously while I'm away from home, I won't be able to live stream, but I am trying to build up a little bit of a lead. With 72 episodes, that's what 6 game days per season times 3 years equals. And so we've got to be done by November 1st. And as I've often said in my videos here on the challenge, that may seem like a long time from now, because obviously we've got to get through all of August, we've got to get through all of September, and we've got to get through all of October. But when you're a busy guy, and if many days goes by and you don't record, you don't stream, then essentially November 1st will come rather quickly. And of course we might find ourselves in a situation where we feel like we've got to do, you know, like 3 or 4 or 5 live streams a day to try to get caught up, and I don't want to put myself into that situation, because then I run the risk of it not being fun anymore. As long as I can sort of pace myself to a point to where that I'm still having fun, then obviously it'll all work out. So let's see, DC says the silage bells take longer to ferment with the update too, don't they? I don't know. Let's see, maybe Farmer Klein answered that. Not sure, DC. It should be 1/3 of the season length. The change log did not mention that. Then DC says, interesting. I saw there was a fix for the Corona baler in the mod hub. There is. 4 seasons, there is a fix for that. Unfortunately, I don't think it addresses the speed of the baler itself, and I sort of ran into some faultry. I sort of ran into some problems when I was playing around with that big baler on Mountain Valley Farm, that the tractor that I'm using on that map, which is smaller, it's around 300 horsepower or so, I think, was not capable of driving it at any sort of speed that I wanted to sort of endure viewers and everything to watch. And then I really didn't want to put a huge tractor onto that map, because we have been kind of playing it with smaller equipment. So maybe my next map, I don't know what that's going to be yet. I've got some possibilities. I've got one that I'm hoping will come out, but right now it's not been released to everyone. I do have it. I was given a copy of it by the person that basically converted it from FarmSim 15 to 17, but the original mod author of the 15 version has not essentially decided if it's going to be released to the general public. And if it doesn't get released to the general public, I don't have a desire to play it, because I think that's a bit unfair to play something that I can't tell folks, yeah, you can go out and get this map and you can play it too. I would rather play things that are generally available for everybody, because that way, and I know I played the Seasons mod for 6 months, and trust me, it hurt me every time somebody said, will you please give me this mod? And I said, no, I can't do that. I can't share it. It goes against everything, you know, it goes against the wishes of the modder, but it also goes against everything that I sort of stand for, as far as integrity and playing by the rules and all that kind of stuff. And so it hurt, but at the same time, hopefully nobody's in the outhouse, it hurt to be able to tell people no, but at the same time I felt that I was doing a benefit to the community by showcasing it. And also, quite honestly, I got hooked with what it does for the gameplay, how it changes the gameplay, and I cannot play a map without it. I've tried. Folks were asking me back before the Seasons mod became available, folks were saying, would you please play a map without the Seasons mod, because we like your gameplay and everything, but obviously you're playing with the Seasons mod and we can't play with that. Will you consider playing a map without it? And I tried it, I really did, because I wanted to try to provide my fans, my viewers, with something that they were asking for, but it just wasn't fun for me anymore, because it was getting back into that, you know, sort of doing things with no apparent reason, just, you know, kind of planting one day, fertilizing the next, and then harvesting, and then all of a sudden you were doing it right around over again. And let's see, Farmer Klein says, I wish there was a way to see how many layers of snow you have to know if layers have gone away today. Yeah, I wish there were too, because that would sort of give me maybe some kind of indication as to just what sort of delay that I would actually have. You know, I'm sort of thinking, and I said yesterday that I sort of felt that I was preparing myself to have snow on the ground all day today, which obviously has been the case, and actually preparing myself to have snow on the ground all day on the second game day of spring, and I think that's going to be true. Because also, for those of us that enjoy ultimate realism, here's sort of the deal. As much as I'm hating and fighting the snow, and as much as the snow is causing delays in my money-making process, I would hate to basically, as we fast forward into the next day, I would hate for then magically, the snow is here today, it's obviously deep, it's really affecting our abilities to do things. I would hate for all this to be gone tomorrow, just like, you know, overnight. I would like to see a, now of course I'm not going to cry if that's the case. I will do a little bit of a happy dance and we'll start hauling and selling wood like there's no tomorrow. But I think what you guys might understand me saying is that the realism factor is that, you know, we've got a lot of snow on the ground today. We would expect that there would be still snow tomorrow, just maybe a little bit less of it. But the other thing is that we're also not necessarily playing in consecutive days. So even though the forecast up there says tomorrow is Friday and the day after that is Saturday, in theory, you know, we're basically cramming the entire spring season into 6 days. So it's almost like, you know, sort of a happy medium between days. Okay, Farmer Klein, thanks for stopping out and hanging out with me. I appreciate that. I will try to catch more of your streams as well. And good luck to you. Well, there's a tree in my way, isn't there? Here I am. I'm getting a little bit greedy. I'm wanting this really tall tree back here. Come on. There we go. I'm being just a bit greedy and saying, I want that tall tree, and I'm trying to pluck it out from the smaller trees. Now here's what I don't know, and now that Farmer Klein has left, we may not know the answer to this question unless he sort of replies after the archive, if he comes back and watches some of it. But what I don't know is if these game planted trees, which are obviously here on the map when either Giants, you know, created this map, because obviously Old Guy Farmer just sort of edited a few things. But what I don't know is some of these trees that we see that are not yet, you know, tall enough to even bother with cutting. I don't know if over the next year and a half or so, if we would see these trees get larger to where that maybe we could return to this area and cut out, you know, these 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever these smaller trees are going to end up being, if we could come in here and cut those out. In other words, will they continue to grow, or are trees that are sort of giants trees, or are they just as good as they will ever get, and that's how tall that they're ever going to grow? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Tree. All right, let's try something. And again, I try to limit my tabbing around, but in this situation, I can't walk over here because it's going to just take too long. But let's just see if by any chance the snow layers have calmed down just a little bit, and I think that they have. Obviously, we were not able to drive this fast earlier in this game day. And so let's see if we can maybe just do a little something different for the remaining time that we have together for this episode. And I suppose if we can do this quite well, in other words, if we're not slipping and sliding like we have been doing, we might go ahead and pull an all-nighter and haul this wood, because unfortunately I won't have time for a third video, for a third episode today. So in other words, a triple header, I won't have time for that. But I do have time maybe to pull an all-nighter, which would basically mean that we would have about another 30 or 45 minutes added to this video. So let's see what side we're on here. Left side, we want right side, and we want to start the auto load. And of course, I fully understand that if you guys cannot hang out because you need to get your Saturday stuff going, I've got honeydew projects that I need to get going, which obviously is why I can't do a triple header today. I understand, and you guys are certainly, I appreciate you guys hanging out as long as you have. So if you've got other things that you need to do, I fully understand. And I don't know when I will stream again. I will just tell everyone that my wife is having surgery on Monday, and so I'm kind of thinking that we are going to, I don't know if we're going to go out tonight or if we're going to just maybe do something takeaway. DC and I have been talking the last couple of days about takeaway foods, and Chinese is still a possibility for us tonight. I think those 3 logs are just going to need to stay there until the snow melts. But anyway, so I may not stream tonight. I may and I may not. It just depends. So if I do, it'll be a surprise. If I don't, then if I don't, then you guys know why I don't, because we chose to go out. And then I probably won't stream tomorrow. Can I get that? No. But we did. Great. I have a feeling that there's going to be little pieces of wood sort of all over this map, all over the snowy areas that we can't necessarily see. So that'll be fun to come in here and clean all that up at a later stage. But anyway, I am probably going to stream some on Monday during the day, and maybe even Tuesday during the day. I'm off both Monday and Tuesday to kind of help her with recuperation and stuff like that. And I sort of suspect that she's going to sleep a little bit. And so while she's sleeping, I will probably do some live streaming, because there won't be anything else for me to do while if she's sleeping and resting comfortably. Nothing else for me to do. So but I am one of my projects today is I've got a critter of some kind. I don't know if it's a mouse, if it's a squirrel, or if it is something a little bit larger, but some kind of little vermin like that, I think, is trying to get in through my garage door. And this all sort of started a couple of years ago. We got a new kitten, a rescue kitten, and we put him to kind of protect him and give him a chance to kind of establish his place amongst the other 2 cats that we had at the time. We kept him in the spare bedroom, which the spare bedroom was, or is, directly over the garage. And of course, he did not like being by himself in the spare bedroom, and he fussed about it quite a bit. And so he was in the spare bedroom for about a week, I guess. Again, as we sort of allowed him to acclimate to the other cats, and we would bring him out and let him interact with the other 2 cats, and then at night when we would go to bed, we would put him in that back bedroom, and just to sort of protect him, right? And so I think that he howled for a good portion of the night, and sort of as a result of that, um, I think he attracted some kind of critter, because we started noticing some scratching and some chewing away. This garage door is like a particle pressed sawdust, very heavy, by the way, but it's not aluminum or anything like that. So we started noticing something sort of gnawing at the garage door. And so as Mickey sort of got older, we stopped putting him in the back bedroom. And then I went to one of the home improvement stores, I think probably the orange one, and got some wood putty, and basically filled in the hole where the filled in the hole where the vermin had scratched trying to get into the garage door, thinking that there was a cat in there. Puttied that up, sanded it, repainted it, everything was fine. Well, but we've sort of noticed that and this was probably, Mickey was a kitten like 5 years ago, I think. And so we sort of noticed that each year something again tries to claw and get into this, to the garage. So I basically got fed up of always having to repair this thing. Hello, Gaming Challenges, welcome to the stream. And so I ordered from the home improvement store, the orange one, I ordered an aluminum piece of molding that's sort of L-shaped. It's about 3.5, 4 inches on one side and 1.5 inches on the other. So obviously the 1.5 inch portion of the L is going to go underneath the garage door, and then the rubber seal will attach to that. And then the 4-inch, 3.5, 4-inch side will stick up in the front. I've got some primer that will adhere to aluminum, and then obviously I'm going to repaint all of this the color of our garage door. And I'm hoping that the first time that critter, that vermin, whatever it is, tries to gnaw into that aluminum plate, that it's going to realize that it's met its match. Do you know how to... Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I cannot be looking at chat while I'm driving. Do you know how to feed your cows grass? Yeah. So go mow some grass, and either rake that grass up if you need to, if you're using a wide mower setup. Rake the grass up into a swath, and then pick that swath up. If you're playing with seasons mod, and I think you are, I know you are actually, you're going to want to pick that grass up with your with a forage wagon, because if you bale it, the bales are going to disappear in a couple of game days, okay? Because the seasons mod depicts rotting of grass, so you can't really store grass long term. So keep that in mind. So basically, just get yourself a forage wagon, cut enough grass for your needs, and then pick that grass up and back up to their feed trough and empty it. And that's how you feed cows grass. Pretty straightforward there. But just remember that again, you can't, there's no long-term storage for grass. So in other words, during the period of time when you can't mow grass because the grass has been knocked down to stage 1 or whatever, your cows are just their productivity is gonna fall off some because of that, because you can't feed grass. Now on my mod spreadsheet, and I'll just show it to you here in the store, so look at my screen here. On my mod spreadsheet, I have these guys listed. Nope, that's the wrong one. Animals. Is it here? Is time's ticking away here? Pallets? No, maybe it's miscellaneous. Hang on. Miscellaneous. Nope. What were those under? Here? Nope. No, what were the? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't activate them yet. But there are some old guy farmer were using these on his gameplay, and I did add them to my mod spreadsheet. And they're basically silos that you purchase them from the store. They appear at the store. They're 20,000 liters worth of whatever it is that you purchase. So grass, as an example, and then you basically use a tipper to come under it and collect the grass, and then you can haul it over if you don't have grass to mow yet. And those are on my mod spreadsheet. I think they're listed under placeables, but I don't think I've activated them on this map because I don't plan on using them right now. Where is the forage wagon? The forage wagons are listed under forage wagons. As I'm stuck again. You mean all the grass is cut in your game? If it is, it's because it's possibly spring, and your grass typically doesn't grow in the spring, or it starts growing in the spring. So it's just part of the fact that you kind of have to manage. So either take advantage of one of those grass buying silos that I talked about, or just wait until the grass is tall enough to cut. So you know, you kind of have to plan your. You just kind of have to plan your day, your schedule and everything. But yeah, the seasons mod more or less, you know, forces your gameplay to be somewhat realistic, in the sense that, you know, if you're just coming out of winter, even in your own home, unless you live in the tropics or something like that, you don't have grass available. So. Let's see, we need to plot a new course to the sawmill. Let's see, where is the sawmill? Sawmill is over there, so I think we just keep going down this road and then take a little left. 6 of my cows died. Yep, the seasons mod, if you don't feed your cows, the seasons mod will kill your animals, your livestock off. Now that's not because they didn't have grass to eat, that's because you also didn't have hay for them and have silage, mixed rations, etc. So Just the simple fact that they don't have grass is not going to kill them off, but you do have to feed them the other items as well. Just like real life. Yeah, it's probably, my advice would be to not invest heavily on animals until you kind of get a feel for how the Seasons mod affects your gameplay. That includes, you know, how it affects the grass growth, how it's going to affect your crops, because obviously you're also going to need straw, and so you get straw off your wheat or your barley crop. So don't sink a whole lot of money into animals until you kind of get the grasp of how it affects it, because it basically, you know, it affects the gameplay in such a way that, you know, it makes it more realistic is one way of looking at it, but more realistic may, you know, catch you kind of in a bind if you're not prepared for that. All right, let's see which side we're loading here. Right side, so we need to go back over here, undo the belts, and unload. I think this is going to put us over 1 million. There we go, folks. There's our 1 million that we were hoping to get in the earlier gameplay, but now we've got it. So yay, we're millionaires. All right, we're going to go ahead and play through the night. So in other words, pull an all-nighter and sell up some of this wood, just kind of keep things, as long as we can continue to drive. Maybe we'll see some of this snow melt, and we'll stop in just enough time before 6 a.m. to be able to clean up after our sheep so that their productivity remains high, and then we will get right back after it. Lots of snow, but thankfully we can drive in it. We're not able to do any sort of maneuvering in that game day yesterday, episode 24. We have a few pieces here in the road that we'll try to get on this load here. Should be able to follow our ruts and figure out how to get back to the sawmill this direction. Don't know if I've ever been to the sawmill going this direction or not. Even playing on the original Goldcrest Valley. Did a little bit of logging on the original Goldcrest Valley just to kind of test out the new log handling physics and everything that were supposed to be much different from Farm Sim 15, and they were to a certain extent. It's still not perfect. I still say that sort of, now I don't know about log handling because I've actually never operated a Scorpion in my life, but I have driven forklifts and I have moved pallets and bales and stuff with a forklift, and I will say that it is easier to do those things in real life than it is than it's depicted in the virtual world. And what I mean by that is that it's a lot easier, like especially with a forklift as an example, your visual perception of where you are in relation to the pallet and where your pallet forks and everything are is easier to detect where those things are in real world, in the real life, sort of where how you're sitting on the forklift and all that kind of stuff than it is depicted in Farm Sim 17. Oops. Something popped up, some update of some kind probably. I'm gonna just save the game right quick because just in case that was something that was gonna force an update or something like that, I don't want to be caught out and have to repeat all of this. I'm not sure what you typed there, DC. Sorry if Nightbot thought you were saying something or whatever. It's I've tried to relax some of the settings on Nightbot for a little bit because most of the folks that come out and hang out with me are not trying to spam and post links and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes it still thinks that you're trying to do something that you're actually not. Oh, money emotes. Yeah, Nightbot, I need to relax the emotes, I think. I don't mind if people use them. Come on. Come on, load up there. There we go. The snow is coming, it seems to be coming off the road surface a little better, so that's promising. Of course, we really need it to come off these the grass in the fields. Of course, I doubt that the snow, I don't think the snow being on the fields is necessarily going to affect the soil temperature. Although, well, no, we still have frozen ground, so we can't do anything, we can't work our fields just yet. Let's restack our logs here. And back to the sawmill we go. It's just rinse and repeat. But by pulling this all-nighter, we should basically get ourselves back where we would have probably been had we been able to have hauled logs on the last game day of winter, and also hauled the stuff that we cut on the first game day of spring. I think it's all, you know, washing out okay for us. I'm sure the hotel or the lodge here doesn't appreciate us driving through here hauling logs like this at the wee hours of the morning. Hey Tom, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna have snow in the ground throughout game day 2. I have a feeling, at least that's what I'm prepared for. Just simply because I just don't see, I just don't see it all going away with as much as we've had. And of course, we have no way of really knowing how many layers of snow that we actually have, other than by saying a bunch. In our winter, for this particular winter, Tom, I don't know if you were watching any of the other episodes. Your name looks new to me, but I appreciate you stopping by. But it appears that, well, I mean, the fact is we had, we're playing 6 game days per season. We had 5 days of snow of the 6, so I'm guessing that's why we have all of these layers of snow, and why I'm pretty much saying that it's most likely going to be until through the 2nd game day. So obviously this is the early mornings of the 2nd game day, but still classified as episode number 25. But I appreciate you coming out, Tom. Thanks for stopping by. I am doing a giveaway. I will go ahead and repeat the information on the giveaway since I talked about that probably about 30 minutes or so ago. But I am giving away 3 copies of the Farm Sim 17 expansion DLC pack that'll be coming out in November. You can enter to win once per episode. In each episode, I announce a code word of the day. And the code word of the day for episode number 25, which is this episode that we're in here, which really includes the first game day of spring. We just decided to pull an all-nighter. The code word of the day is Happy New Year. And so you get information on basically how to enter by looking at the information down below the video screen. And like I said, the more you watch, the more you hear those code words of the day, the more you can enter. This will be 72 total episodes, so this is basically episode number 25, so we're just over a third of the way through the series. So lots more farming, logging, shenanigans and everything to come, I'm sure. Especially if we have another winter similar to this first winter. There will be lots of shenanigans. And all the information regarding what the challenge is all about and everything is listed down below the video. And there are several guidelines that we have to follow as far as what the challenge, the rules of the challenge and all that kind of stuff. So we're adhering to everything, playing by the rules and everything. One of the rules that doesn't exist is obviously the fact that we can use auto-loading trailers, so that's why we're doing an auto-loading trailer, just for the sheer fact that with as much timber as we have cut down, I really do believe that if we weren't able to use auto-loading trailers, and I've heard that the next challenge we won't be able to, but I would probably still be loading the first day's worth of logs that we cut if it wasn't for auto-loading trailers. So 3:30 in the morning on the still sort of, even though this is the second game day of spring, but it's our episode that we started on the first game day of spring. We'll probably haul this load in, sell it, and then head back to the main farm where we will see if we can get our tractor unstuck, which was stuck pulling a load of water. And then we need to quickly clean up after our sheep and then basically end this episode and basically allow you guys and gals to head on and get your Saturdays going, or maybe depending on where you are in the world, maybe Saturday lunch or mid-afternoon chores or whatever you got going on or whatever. But we'll let you get on about your, as my dad would say, get on about your rat killing. And I got to get on about my installing that aluminum piece of molding on my garage door to keep the rat or the squirrel or whatever that's trying to get in there out. I live in the city, but we still have, we still have lots of squirrels and other vermin and stuff like that that still try to get into our houses and stuff. They're just trying to escape. They're just trying to escape or prepare for winter, I suppose, on their own. I gotta say one thing though, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit weird or whatever. I really get into simulation-based games. I really try to, sort of try to immerse myself into the gameplay, obviously, for good reason. Left side. Is that because I've been playing so much with the snow on the ground, I often sort of in the back of my mind, I'm thinking it's wintertime outside. And it's just really, it's a weird feeling to then walk outside and it's July and it's 90 degrees. I sort of am snapped back into reality pretty quick, saying, nope, it's actually not. Okay. I'm just not doing myself any favors with time. Alright, I hate to do this, but we're going to have to do this because I'm just going to reset this to the main farm. That's where we were headed anyway. And this is the first time I've actually ever done this. It's going to be fine. Alright, so we're going to tab back to the main farm, and we're going to see if we can get this guy to move out of his stuck position. We're actually going to haul water up here to the greenhouses. Alright, Gaming Challenges, thanks for hanging out with us today. We will see you later on down the road. Yeah, I think Old Guy Farmer did something or made a mistake or something with the snow mask, and I don't know if he meant to snow mask the roads or not to sort of simulate that they were plowed, but he has corrected that with version 2 of this map, which obviously we won't be taking advantage of because we're not going to be able to restart our game since we're some of us are maybe as much as halfway through with the gameplay. But at least he's fixed that, or he's acknowledged that he's fixed that. But this snow has just really been, I mean, almost each episode during winter has just been a struggle. All right. Let's look at our sheep, our animals. Water they need, but I think we can do that. We'll do that first thing on the next game day. We do need to clean them. So we will get over here to our telehandler, get this guy fired up. And we've got just an hour and 10 minutes, and then we'll end the episode. That'll be 6 o'clock. We've pulled an all-nighter. There's no, the challenge doesn't prevent us from doing all-nighters. We could play all-nighters. We could do all-nighters every single episode if we wanted to. Again, I've sort of been trying to err on the side of what would be realistic, and obviously I know that farmers do work oftentimes through the night and everything. They wouldn't do it every single day, every single night, because the human body just can't do that and survive. So I have limited my all-nighters to just maybe, I think I did, throughout the first year, I think I did maybe 3 all-nighters, or 2. And of course in this one we've kind of started off with an all-nighter, but it'll work out. It'll be all right. Even our telehandler struggles. Everything struggles. Our rooster has barely got his head above the snow, so it's at least that deep. It's at least the depth of a chicken. There's another one that's just barely got his head above the snow. All right, so we will go ahead and do this. We had to have our truck towed out and towed back to the main farm. Thankfully we didn't have wood on it, so thankfully we didn't lose money through that, but we will go ahead and get connected here. Because clearly we're going to be doing this more tomorrow, logging. At least hauling logs to sell. It depends on There's really nothing else we can do because I'm suspecting that we're still going to have snow on the ground for much of game day 2, and we're probably also going to still have frozen ground. So you can't do anything with frozen ground. Farmer Klein did test and did prove that you can't even fertilize on frozen ground. It basically will not take the fertilizer. It will basically give you an error and say that it's frozen ground. What are you doing? You can't do that. So really, we're sort of limited to doing logging or hauling logs to the sell point until our ground temperatures come up to below freezing, which might be tomorrow. We'll see. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching, folks. We're going to go ahead and hit escape. We're going to save our game, and we will go ahead and quit the game. And then when we do episode number 26, it'll obviously be this same game day, and we will tend to our animals and sort of tend to the greenhouses and make sure they're on schedule and everything. And I don't know when that will be. That might be later this evening. It might be later this afternoon. I really don't know, but I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me. It's been a blast. It's been difficult work, but we have made our million and had fun doing it. So thank you all so much for hanging out and watching the live streams and catching up with the archive stuff. And don't forget the word of the day. Don't forget to enter the contest for the giveaway. I appreciate it, and I will speak to you all very, very soon. Have a wonderful Saturday.